We all got to know multiple award-winning actress Octavia Spencer for her roles in dozens of critically acclaimed films, including some big favourites like The Help, The Shape of Water and Hidden Figures. But 2019 marks the year in which she will star as the villain in terrifying psychological thriller Ma, in which the title character, an outsider all her life, befriends some teenagers and invites them to party and get drunk in her basement. A pretty big warning sign if you ask me. As a matter of fact, things soon get out of control and Ma reveals a much darker side to her personality. Only watching the movie will give us all the answers concerning what is going on in Ma's life and what happens to the teenagers, but there are many hints and theories that we can work out right from the trailer. The first thing that we notice, and which is brought up multiple times in a span of a few minutes, is the presence of many African tribal masks, probably because of Ma's ancestry. African masks are traditionally used for different spiritual practices, including venerating ancestors and speaking to the souls of the dead. They are not something to be considered lightly, as using them out of context is considered by tribes as taboo. For example, they often may not be touched by people other than a designated user. African masks themselves are pretty harmless. They are an element of cultural heritage and many people use them as home decoration and to homage their origins, but to include them so heavily in such a short trailer definitely means something. Also because Ma's connection with African tribal culture doesn't stop here, as she also proceeds to coat the face of one of her victims with white paint. Coincidentally, the victim is dark-skinned, and in many tribes, bodies are traditionally painted white to symbolize different concepts, including striking terror or as an initiation rite. And while most Western cultures tend to associate death with the color black, in African culture black also symbolizes life, while white can be used as a symbol of peace, but meant as passing on, as death. In general, in most African cultures, people who wear ritual masks according to tradition lose their human life and turn into the spirit represented by the mask itself. In fact, the creators of masks are considered capable of using the object's powers to cause harm to others. So again, probably not just a home decoration for Ma. Also, this might be unrelated, but the whole film was shot entirely in Natchez, Mississippi, a small town but which has a history of having numerous plantations and heavy implementation of African slave labour. All of this being said, why does Ma behave like this? Throughout the trailer, it is implied that Ma knows the parents of the kids she invited into her basement, including where they work, and she's able to easily gain access to their houses. The producers of the film also released a list of cast members which include actors who portray the parents and Ma during their childhood. But although Ma puts on a nice face, we can clearly tell that she resents these people. Could this be because she was bullied at a younger age and she is now seeking revenge? Was she just looking for the friend she never had and then lost control? In one shot we can tell her hand has some old burn scars, which also seem to be present around her neck. She describes all men as dogs and seems to live completely alone with no one else in her life. She doesn't give anybody her real name, just asking them to refer to her as Ma. Also, Octavia Spencer revealed in an interview that bullying is a crisis and I think people need to know that their actions leave scars. Ma's definitely a cautionary tale. Also, writer Scotty Lanzer emphasised that the story is about somebody that was on the outside their whole life, a concept which is actually repeated and nearly quoted word by word within the trailer when Ma says, "How does it feel to be on the outside and looking in?" One thing we know for sure about Ma is that she has easy access to tools to use on her victims. In most of the shots, Ma is wearing scrubs, and in one in particular it looks like she works at a vet clinic, possibly giving her access to heavy sedatives, medical material, as well as the necessary skills to overpower an animal/person. As a matter of fact, in one scene one of the characters seems to have been sedated and drops to the floor, while in others we can see what looks like IV lines connected to the victim's arms. All of this in addition to torture with sharp knives and sewing the victim's lips together. We see her taking, probably stealing jars of medication off a countertop. That medication is zetamine, which is used in the veterinary world to restrain animals. At what appears to be the peak of her torture, Ma is seen showing off her victims to somebody after having them all set up. She has them chained, heavily wounded, sedated, all sitting on the couch with her. Some of the victims are even placed in comfortable, relaxed positions with their legs crossed as if they were all on show. But for who? We can't tell who's watching, if not for the other more suspicious friend or one of the parents she's trying to terrify. The one question we have no answer to is what is in the rest of the house. One of the first rules Ma imposes is that the guests must not go upstairs. This may sound like a normal guideline set in most households, but knowing Ma, it probably means she is hiding something and not because she doesn't want her carpet stained. All of the above are our theories, but what do you think about this topic? Let us know with a comment below.